Good evening, Goodman Games fans, and welcome to another episode of Raw or Rules is Written. I am one of your hosts, Matt Robertson, also known as Grape Ape, joined by our other awesome host,
Stefan Strott, also known as DM Bad Wrong Fun.
Stefan. Who's our guest today?
Oh, well, we have Steven, which lets viewers keep track at home how many times Matt gets that right and wrong.
I had it right when we started the episode, and then said Steven, and Stefan thought I meant Stefan, and so he already got in my head about it. But Stephen G is I believe, the newest member of the Goodman Games family.
I think
Stephen,
so.
would you like to introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
Yeah, well, it's a pleasure to meet everyone. It's great to be here. This is really cool. I'm Steven, as they said. I work for customer service now, doing emails and all that kind of stuff for Goodman Games. Been a big fan of the game for 5, 6 years now. I've been playing tabletop games since I was a kid. And just kind of awesome to be here. Really, really surreal answering emails for the company that makes all the adventures I run every week. It's a
It
good time.
is pretty awesome. We are happy that you are here. Even we usually hit the new guest with questions from the previous guest.
Sure.
So, Stefan, do you want to fire those at him?
Oh, sure. If you give me just a couple seconds, I'll start
I'll
throwing them.
I'll hit the
I got
first
it.
one.
I got it.
All right.
All right.
You got it.
When should a judge apply the armor check penalty?
Armor check penalty. That's going to be anytime you're making a skill check. It's checks. I don't believe they apply to saving throws. I think was the kind of the consensus on that around everywhere. But skill checks for spell checks, depending, for wizards and elves, if it's heavy armor, iron, not for clerics, but skill checks specifically. Thief
All
skills,
skill checks?
making. Not all, not like intelligent skill checks, but anything that would involve physical running, jumping, climbing, swimming, or sneaking silently, running up walls, that sort of stuff. Heavy gloves, maybe lock picking, if you're mean. But
I like that. I like that.
All right, now we got to remember, make some magic gloves in your next game that are really heavy but really good, and good for the thief, but also bad for the thief. Make him squirm.
I made my thief wore some plate mail gloves he was really into, and I made him start taking negatives to it. And so he specified that he cut the fingers off, so you have fingerless gloves, so hands are protected. I'm like,
Okay.
I guess we're gonna get that specific on the attacks. Watch those crits.
All right. Well, our next question, Steven, is: are swarms counted as one target for spells like sleeps or other area of effect attacks? Do they just count as one target, or is it 100 mice, 20 rats?
No, definitely one target. But if you wanted to be spicy, probably I'd say that if it's a particularly big swarm with multiple hit dice, that you're probably only putting to sleep portions of it. Maybe 2d6 of the 4d6 rat swarm gets put to sleep or whatnot, or only that much gets blasted by fire as the damage goes down. But yeah, it's all one creature in terms of targeting. I target the swarm. I guess if you really wanted to target one specific rat in the swarm, I would allow it for shenanigans. But yeah, that's one creature.
All right. Then we
got the next one.
Yeah, and the next one, very much linked to the one after that. Can a wizard's familiar be healed? Typically by a cleric is what we mean, but there's
right,
recovery
interesting
over time.
Question, isn't it?
Yeah,
that is an interesting question. I mean, if it's going to be from magical healing, first question first is going to be alignment. If this is a familiar of a demon or Cesrican or something, the Justicia cleric is going to have a hard time of it. But I mean, I'd imagine so. It at least feels a little sad if you know that your familiar is just on a ticking clock forever. There's got to be some way.
Well, what we found is, I think we came to saying, not to have a long discussion, but it really came down to the physical appearance and also that demonic thing, because some of the physical appearance, it was just like a loyal dog, and some of it was an extra planar ant, or a regular giant ant from this plane, or a construct, or there's a variety of things that you could definitely have some different answers on.
Yes, I think it's going to come down a lot to the setting, what you're playing. And if you're playing, a game where you're doing a lot of sci-fi kind of stuff, you might have someone who can do repair for your familiar golem sort of deal. If it's very fey and floral and you have a giant bee, you might have a druid in your party who can take care of it or whatnot. But yeah, I'd make the players work for it for sure, especially if they were really stacking hit points on it to keep the wizard immortal.
We got some good puns in chat, by the way. The history professor is saying you can do it unless the healer is unfamiliar.
Nice. I'm glad chat is active. All right, Stephen. Well, our next question was, when a familiar dies, wizard loses double the hit points of that familiar instantly. And that hit point loss be healed by a cleric. It was instantly lost like that. So one, can it be healed by normal or magical kind of healing, potion of healing, whatnot? And then second follow-up question, could it be replenished or healed with restore vitality?
Well, if I recall correctly, when you gain a familiar, your maximum hit points goes up by the amount of hit points the familiar has. But when it dies, you lose that many hit points, but then double. So you're now lower than your theoretical original max, but it's not a hit point permanent reduction, it's damage. I would say that because you lose the familiar, those like 4 extra hit points you get, those are gone. They cannot be healed, no way. But that extra 4 damage, I'd let that get healed with a potion or lay on hands or whatever. Back up to the original level if the damage didn't kill them.
Pretty sure it does say that the damage is permanent, but
if it is permanent, I would definitely have to look. I could be happy rolling that either way. And again, if a wizard is upset by that, well, quest for it. Go find the familiar that doesn't permanently main your health when you get them. I'll write that adventure for you.
Go find the ghost of the familiar that you lost and have him habitat a different familiar body, a different animal body.
Yeah, go to that other plane where your extra planar at came from and have it forgive you.
It's about getting that chicken from the funnel and avenging them when you summon the chicken spirit to become your familiar.
All right, well, we are back. We're not sure what was going on there. We lost audio for a second, but we're going to start back off with you introducing your evil, nasty, corrupt, horrible wizard that hopefully loses. Go ahead and introduce him one more time, Stephen.
Well, you basically summed it up except for the hopefully loses part. It's the evil, nasty, corrupt wizard who will hopefully win is how it's going today. I'm playing Sreebold, and I'm here to use my level 5 powers to destroy your 2 paltry level 2 wizards. with what?
We have level 2 wizards. Now, Steven is playing the NPC wizard, so he has stats. He can't burn luck or spell burn like we can. For the first battle, we're going to be the only ones that can spend luck or spell burn as the good players who are trying to bring lawfulness to the world. I'm going to be playing the wizard Xenolestimus, who is, you'll notice that all 3 of these wizards are from the corruption chart, just different phases. There's my long flowing beard, maybe a mentor to my cohort. Stefan, would you like to introduce your wizard?
Yes, I have Keeper Nefet here, keeper of many lost tomes, hopefully more and more. I think there's one in that mummy coffin up there. Either that or it's my lost frisbee that I threw in this tomb. We'll see.
All right, so you guys have your grimoires. Probably the only thing we're going to need is the spellbook. So if you open up your character sheet and just click on spellbook, you should be able to hit single die spell checks. You should be good to go. I guess the next thing we need to do is roll some initiative.
Yeah.
Oh, make sure you select your token. And let me bring up the combat tracker. And it'll be under core stats. And there'll be initiative button at the top right.
Oh, this is nice. There's even a button for two-handed initiative.
Yes. The good guys.
I mean,
we might finish last, but we're going first.
Stefan, could it be written any different that us twins, the Wonder Twins, the same initiative?
Mm-hmm.
I
Good
don't
luck.
think so.
We are here to fight evil. Stefan, please, you go first.
All right.
Wait, let me change your wizard's name. What was your wizard's name?
Keeper
Did it-
Nefets.
did it
It's
just
just my
change like
name
that?
written backwards,
Shh,
as is
tell everyone.
tradition.
Tell everyone the secret.
Oh, I think people figured out who Eckham is, and the DCC folks catch on quick to these things.
It took me a long time. There's, a lot of possible variations of Eckham. It was very hard to descramble.
All right. Keeper Nefets, you are up first. What are you gonna do?
I am gonna get closer, but not that much closer. Because I don't need, maybe I could. I've got color spray in my wheelhouse, but I'm gonna start off with Magic Missile. It's the classic, and
Oh.
I don't need to be near this bad dude. But I think first we have to set our momentum tracker to 10. I have a
Momentum
die
tracker.
here. That is actually step one in the spell duel thing. We'll see if we get to the whole momentum thing mattering, but there we go. And
Yeah.
I'm
Step
the
one is somebody declares a counter spell. So
Yes,
yeah. Oh
you're
yeah.
going
So I'm
right.
ahead. All right.
You're
I'm
you're
gonna.
going first with Magic Missile. I will counterspell. I will
Okay. All
definitely
right.
use one of my action dice to not get hit by that the best I can.
Well, I spellburned 10 points and got
Ooh,
19 though. I could have done better, but I'm at a 19.
nice. I was
over
only gonna.
10 points.
That's
Start strong. Start
that's a
strong.
lot of points.
It is. Unfortunately, you cast Featherfall, Stefan, so you're
Oh,
floating through the air right
that
now.
that was. Let's pretend I hit the button for Magic Missile. I'm not used to roll 20.
I am rolling mine with a D14. I have to add my bonuses in there, right? I just add in.
No,
What
it
does it do it
just click the
myself?
button, and it calculates it automatically.
Nice. Oh, it asks if I want to do Spellburn, which I'm not doing because I'm an NPC.
Mm-hmm.
Said you're
No.
rolling
Bam.
a D14. Why?
D4 because I have 2 action dice at level 5, a D20 and a D14.
Oh my gosh! And with the
Oh,
D14, he
Stefan.
got to
Oh
a
my
20.
gosh.
So, and he's
Stefan, I didn't even
counterspelling.
remember that.
Yes,
Oh
that is the
man!
trick. 2 wizards versus 1 wizard with 2 actions.
Triple
All right.
counterspell.
Even with
Triple
my
counterspell.
weakest magic.
Because I am counterspelling your counterspell,
Ooh.
which I believe I can do.
So I'll say, I don't know. I remember on a previous one we talked about it's a duel, and I forget who it was on that specific episode, but a lot of people are saying no, it's between just 2 people. So maybe I have to counterspell one of his action die, and
it
you have
is
to counterspell the other.
definitely not just between 2 people. So if
All
we go to
right.
page,
The book definitely says you can all multiple just get on in there.
Okay.
if we
Group
go to page
fight.
99, there is a paragraph for multiple casters. 2
All right.
spellcasters
Good.
make attempt to counter spell a single caster. Now, that means that we could both try to counterspell Stefan the way it's phrased right now.
Mm.
So it says 2
Yeah.
counterspellers may attempt to counterspell a single caster.
I don't know if you can counterspell my counterspell.
Exactly.
But you can
That's
probably.
the question.
But you're also both moving on 17. If I was running this, I'd be like, both of you are launching your magic missiles at the same time. That can fuse into one. I could be counterspelling a double, if you wanted to rule it that way. So
No,
your
we'll
missiles
stay away from
fuse
that
together.
complication. Resolve all spell check comparisons, then refer to the tables. Counter spells happen simultaneously. So because you're already counterspelling, can I counterspell? The defender declares a counterspell and makes a spell check. Winner. So I think to do multiple castings, it would be us having to both try to counter his counterspell.
All right. So you're going to leave it as is.
You're going to be on your own, Stefan. Sorry.
All right. That's fair. So your momentum tracker goes up to an 11 from a 10 because you are the winner.
Right.
And then we cross-reference our 2 spell checks on table 4, 5, and basically it comes down to you need to roll a D3.
Right.
Explain a little bit what you're doing there, Stefan, when you say table 4, 5.
So table 4-5 is the spell duel check comparison, and basically it's just a matrix. A 19 will line up to a 19. If you go over, one more in the row, it'll be a 20 lines up to a 19. And if you meet right in the middle, you get Phlogiston Disturbance. And we were so close.
Very
We were
close.
so
1
close.
point away.
Which so disappointing. I'd love to get just already put us in another plane.
It happens quite often, I find.
But
Always when it's at its most inconvenient.
the
We got a
defense,
D3 roll.
yeah, and basically, if you're just one off, you roll a D3. If you're two off, you roll a D4, and etc. with the dice chain.
Then we go over to table 4-6, the counterspell powers. Steven, what did you get on your D3?
3.
Oh, he was the defender, so the 3 is mitigate a D8. Roll D8 and subtract this from Stefan's spell. So I'm not sure who would roll that.
Defender, because
I guess.
defender.
Yeah.
I went ahead and rolled it and got a 1.
All right.
So Stefan's spell is at an 18. Stefan's spell still carries through at this lower spell check level. Defender's spell is canceled.
Ooh.
All right, and so at an 18 magic missile, I get 1d4 magic missiles. That's 3 of them, and they are all going to do 1d4 plus level. So each of them do, we're level 2, so each of them do 4 points of damage. So 3 times 4, 12 points of damage.
Ouch. I'm still alive.
That hurt.
All right, now it's time for Matt.
Yeah, I'm reloading my roll 20 here because it was lagging a little bit. Yeah, even does have a mass of points.
That was more than half.
All right, so it is my turn, and I think I am going to cast a spell as well. But I am going to move up a little bit here because I do have a little bit higher hit points. Try to move in front of my friend Stefan's path to maybe block him and save him. And I think I'm going to try to cast Charm Person to charm this evil wizard and make him our friend, Stefan.
Well, I will definitely counter that charm with my own charm.
Oh.
And this time I'm going to use my real action die.
I am not going to spell burn. So this is going to be a lost spell for me. And so because it didn't go through, it wasn't successful. If I'm not mistaken, I don't even think you need to counter.
Yeah. So yeah, there's nothing to counter spell, which means it's your turn and you got your main action die to throw at us.
It's true. Your paltry magics have no effect on Rebold. Let's see. Well, there's
16s and 18s, and now I roll a 3.
I won't even complicate it any further. You were going to charm me, but I think with the Wonder Twins here, wouldn't it be most ironic if they had to turn on one another? Let's see how you feel, Xenolestimus, when you're charmed right back. And I roll 15.
All right. I believe I have to make a will save. Is that correct?
Unless
15?
Yeah.
I
believe you already used your action die for this turn, so you can't counterspell.
Yeah, neither of us can counter because we've already went in the initiative. So hopefully my will save. Oh, yeah, baby.
Nice.
16. All right.
So will save, is there any effect at all with the save or?
At that result, I would have to look at the spell table to read it.
I'm pretty sure just about all the charm person levels are save or as we've said for many years, at least at my table, save or suck.
Right.
All right. Well,
Pretty
Stefan,
sure you're correct on that.
Do we re-roll initiative each time? No. Stefan, it is your turn.
Seeing how that went, I think I'm gonna play it slightly cautious and hold my action so that I can counterspell one of his things.
You won't be able to hold an action
No?
though, Stefan.
Well,
That's a
but I won't
good
have used
question.
my action die.
That is a good question, but you have to have an action to counterspell, don't you? And if you end your turn, you can't. There's no held actions in DCC.
Well, I didn't use my action die. I'm not holding. I just have something unused.
Yeah.
Is there not,
Have
and this
we
could
ever
be,
addressed that question, Stefan? If there's held actions?
I mean, we have, and by raw, there are no held actions. It's, I think, a pretty common house rule. I'm
I don't
looking at.
remember if it's raw or not, if there's a way that you can lower your initiative to act later in the round. It's not, they don't call it a held action like, holding the bow and firing it when
Let
a
me
trigger occurs,
actually.
but I think you can
You know,
hold your initiative.
I don't think I can do it. Actually, I'm looking at the page 98 on spell duels. Step 4 is spell duels proceed in initiative order.
I don't
A
think you
wizard
can
later
either.
in initiative may counterspell the spell that cast by a wizard who went before him. The caster who is last in the order cannot have his spells countered. So not even an option for me. I gotta keep it going. We'll see. We'll
Because
see
we're in the
what
duel.
happens. We are in the duel. We are in the thick of it.
So is your turn over? Or are you gonna change what
No,
you?
knowing being fully educated as a good wizard should, I'm gonna go again. However, this scary guy having to, I'm gonna spell burn 4 points this time. And try magic missile again because it's a pretty hard hitter.
It
Um,
is. I will do my counter on this one, and this time I'm going to go at it with the D20.
all right.
And I believe I have +1 momentum, so I add an additional +1 to this, correct?
Is correct.
Mm-hmm.
So I clicked the +1 into the bonus here. 21.
Ugh, so you beat me by 5,
Yes.
and let's see. So that means you need to roll a d6.
2.
Oh, thank goodness. All right. And roll another d6 because you're subtracting that d6 from my spell roll.
2 again. 14.
So a 14 and let me see. Your spell is of course canceled. Mine still goes off, but at a 14, and your momentum goes up by 1. So
No, I'm at
magic
12.
missile on a 14. Single missile, 1d4 damage. Plus caster level. 3
3
damage.
more damage. I'm getting hurt.
We are busting him up. So I think I'm gonna have to try to add to that.
Do your
And
worst.
I'm gonna throw a little force manipulation at him.
Ooh.
See what kind of effect. Well, it might protect us if he goes crazy. It might hurt him. Let's see what it does.
Now, do you have
Uh,
anything that can counterspell that?
I
Question.
don't think I do.
Oh, per the counter, let's talk about that for a second. Per the counterspell rules, it has to be either the same spell.
Right.
It has to be a dispel magic or something like a magic shield that gives you protection. And then when we had Bob on, Stefan, we talked about fire resistance, providing protection from fireball.
Mm-hmm.
I'm liking to think that any spell that's like the antithesis of the spell, like
Right.
I know I looked at these wizards, so I know that
there are even
Steven
expended
has spider web, and Stefan has spider climb. I really
And
want to say that would be
I
great.
I think so. So I'm looking here. You are evil wizard here. You have Featherfall, right?
I do a Featherfall.
What do we think? Force manipulation versus Featherfall?
I also have Nithul's Porcupine Coat, which gives me armor and spikes and would be a good way to resist an attack sort of deal, but I'm not looking to cast that with my D14 action die either.
I think I'm not sure about the Featherfall. That has to be something that's dropping, not a ball of force. But I have Spellburn 5 points.
Ooh,
That is a pretty big result right there.
that is a good roll.
So what do you want to
I'll
do?
also
with
add
this?
real quick. I'm looking at Enter the Dagon in my right monitor now, and it's got some
Yes.
like expanded counterspelling families in there, but I don't see anything added on about force manipulation. That it's obvious. It basically divides it into ray attacks, touch attacks, cloud and spray, enchantment, and then fire. But I guess he doesn't got. I don't think there's anything. I mean, if you had Magic Shield, the book says like that can counter anything though.
All right. Well, so we could always pick a lower level at force manipulation, and
Which is useful.
Inflict 1d6 per caster level. That would be 2d6. That might put him out. That might put
Could.
him away. But creates a wall of force 10 feet square in size. The wall cannot move, but grants complete protection. The wall takes the damage inflicted by such attacks. Wall lasts 1d6 plus CL, and until it absorbs 50%. So I think I'm going to make us a 10. I think I'm going to make us a wall, Stefan.
Okay.
Wall of protection so we can ensure our victory. Let's see here. 10 by 10. And something like that. All right. And Cerebald, it is your turn.
Wonderful. I do not. If you drew it on the map, I do not see it.
You guys don't see the red line? Oh, that's because I had. Oh, hold on. Here you go.
I see it. There.
Mm-hmm.
There's an extra little. I didn't end it.
Are these 5-foot squares?
They are 5-foot squares.
I believe I can go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 behind the wall here.
He's fallen right into our trap, Stefan.
Yeah, he's in range.
I am indeed, but will it help? I'm going to use my second action die. I have the D14 still around to again try to charm Xenolestimus.
Wait. 10-foot square per level in size. A wall of force. Does that mean a square around my person? 10-foot square per level in size. The caster creates a wall of force 10-foot square per level in size. I need somebody that's good at math to tell me what this means.
A 20-foot square wall.
10 foot.
Does that
I think
mean
it's meaning you get a
square,
10-foot
like a
square per
square?
level. No, I don't think.
The wall.
I don't
is
think so. I think
10
you just
feet
have.
square segments. You place two wall segments next to each other.
Yeah, I think
to make a
they're like
20-foot
thick.
long, 10-foot wide wall.
Kind of like I
Yeah.
did.
All right.
I'll let you reshape it if you're interested in reshaping it.
No, I mean 5, 10. That was what I planned to do. So that was my
But
initial
what's
thought.
done is done.
That's right.
All right, hit him with your best shot.
All right, I have 2 momentum now. Yeah, hit him with my best shot. Got it. And let's see. 20.
Does the momentum only count if you're spell dueling? For example, does that momentum count since we haven't dueled yet against me?
Is the whole thing a wizard duel?
That's a good question. Let's see here. Let's look at the momentum real quick, Stefan.
Yeah.
The winner is the high roller. Increment the winner's momentum tracker by 1. Roll the indicated dice. Tracker had a higher spell. Where does it say what that momentum does? We'll check success.
Let's see.
Oh, there's got to be something in here about momentum. Where is it?
So it is table 99, counterspell and action, number 6 on that little list there. yada yada. Basically when you are comparing your results or you're doing table 4-6, the counterspell power. If you have higher momentum, the momentum gives you a bonus there.
That's the counterspell
So
power, not the spells.
yeah, so a moment ago when you had 2 momentum,
Should be
and
0.
I
So that
said
20.
roll a d6, and you rolled a 2, and we selected result 2 from table 4-6, we actually should have selected result 4.
See, that's why we do these things.
That is true. This is why we do, so we can all learn.
It also
Yeah,
means this
so
20 I've rolled should only be an 18.
That's right.
Indeed. So I
yes.
can no longer target both of you with my charm. I still only get you.
And effectively a moment ago when you subtracted a d6 from my attack and I ended up doing a few damage still, we should have subtracted a d10.
It's fine. That's in the past. What's done is
All
done.
right.
You also made
So
your wall too small, so we're even.
I did. I'm gonna spend 2 luck to make that 16 and 18. Right off your charming effects, you sweet talker. I will not be. I will not be convinced.
There's great
'Cause
power
otherwise
in it for you if you betray your friend Nafit. I have wealth, sorcery.
Otherwise, Xenolestimus is going to be charmed for 3 freaking days. So that is
And-
pretty bad news.
and-
Spend the
so-
weekend with Sreebold.
Stefan, it is your turn. Let's finish him.
All right. Let me see. I'm gonna switch things up just a little bit. There's still gonna be Spellburn involved because we need to finish him. I am Spellburning 4 more points, which perks my strength, agility, and stamina all at a 3 now.
Oh,
This is the last Spellburn for you.
Yeah, I'm gonna try. He's gotten close, fallen right into my trap, and that's
what does
why
that bring
I'm
your hit
unleashing.
points down to?
I haven't done the math. I started out at an 11. Let me
So
see.
you haven't knocked yourself unconscious with your own spell burn.
It would actually. You know what? You're right. I wouldn't be able to do that. I can't. I can only spell burn 1 because I am a lowly 5 hit point wizard, and if I took I've already taken myself down to effectively 1 hit point with the stamina related spell burn I've already done. So
this is the cost of great magic.
This is the cost. So color spray, 1 point of spell burn. That's all I feel comfortable doing. Let's see where we get with this.
Get that 20, Stefan. Get that 20.
I got a 9, since I'm pretty sure I'm donezo if I don't do this. I'm gonna spell burn, or I'm gonna luck burn. Let's just put it. Oh, I know that he's pretty high. With color spray, some creatures are unaffected. I think if they're no, it's I was thinking other direction or another spell. So we're gonna get up to a 14 with all the luck burn I'm doing. 9 to 14.
Very nice.
So can you make that will save?
That is the question, isn't it? Well, my willpower save is. I don't have a bonus to my willpower save listed.
Unless you counterspell.
I'm not going to counterspell it. My saving throws are not listed though. I am a monster.
It's under core stats.
Yeah, it has it. It has it at 0, but I'm pretty sure a level 5 wizard doesn't have a 0.
Oh yeah, I didn't put the base. I didn't put the base in for anybody. So we've just been using the zeros. So just hit whatever it is.
Cool.
Roll. Start by rolling a d20. We'll get a pretty hint from.
I knew I forgot something.
It's a 9 you got,
9 there.
and the baseline will bonus is a 3, so you're at a 12. What is your personality modifier?
+0, so that's all I got.
So you lose.
Mhm.
And you are going to be blinded,
That's
which
unfortunate.
for a D4 rounds.
Oof.
3 rounds, you're blind.
Nice.
Right, so without him being able to see me, I'm going to walk through my wall to the other side. Ha ha ha. And since I can still shoot through my wall, I am going to utter the words of magic missile.
Mm-hmm. I do not believe I can counterspell while blinded. I need to see you casting
that's
it,
a-
right? I might be
that's
able
a
to hear your
darn-
incantation.
You would hear the incantation. You would know the words. I would think so. That'd probably be a judge's call. But yeah, once you hear the magic and you recognize the spell, say you can counterspell.
Oh, I'd love to throw a die at that.
Right, I will. I'm just burn 5 points here. Get a little 14. Let's see what.
My D16, my D14 again. 13. A little bit
Right.
under your magic missile.
Ooh.
Oh, it looks like I win that one by 1, Stefan.
So close to these phlogiston
So,
disturbances.
You get a roll of D3.
I roll the D3.
Yes, sir.
And does my momentum come into play here?
There's 1.
I don't think your momentum comes into play. So that is you roll a D4 and subtract it from the defender, and the defender is always the one with the lower result on this. So
1 again.
1 from what spell did you just cast? Your result is 1 lower.
So both spells go off. His goes off at a 12. Mine goes off at a 14.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Mine didn't fail technically.
Right. So let's see what kind of damage I got here on my magic missile. 14 is going to be single missile 1d4 plus caster level.
You have to roll a 4 to kill me.
Now, this is interesting because it says he has to have line of sight shoot me with his missile. But he can't see me. But 1d4 plus 2 for my caster level is going to be a 2 on the dice. Plus 2 more. Does that take you down, Sir Bold?
I have 2 hit points left.
All right, so you get to attack back. Stefan, I need a ruling here. He does not have line of sight because he can't see me.
I think he could cast the magic missile for counterspell purposes, but he can't actually hit you with it because he doesn't have it.
Right, I just kind of firing it in the direction.
Yeah.
Well, so even then, it would go into my shield wall, and the shield wall would take the effect.
Probably, yeah. That's thematically at the table.
So I'm not
that's
going to do
what
a
I would
point of
say.
damage back to you.
Yeah. All right, and we're it's your turn, Steven.
Do you have any actions?
Yes, I still have my D20 this round.
Can't see us.
I can't see you, but I don't need line of sight to cast Nithuel's Porcupine Coat, which I will do.
Right.
And I rolled a nat 1.
Oh
no!
Oh yeah.
So
you're an
praise be to the skull.
But roll a D6. It's modified by luck, but you're an NPC and don't have luck. So.
1.
Corruption, patron taint, which you don't have, and misfire. So roll a D4 and a D5.
Got the trifecta, Stefan. He got the trifecta.
We did it. Beautiful.
So your corruption, you develop a taste for worms and grubs, preferably freshly rooted from the earth. And your misfire, the caster's eyes turn small and beady. Your distance vision suffers. All attacks or spell checks against targets farther than 10 feet away suffer a -2 penalty.
Ooh. I like that already tied into the blindness, too.
It's
I'm no stranger to corruption here.
Right. That guy wants to eat grubs and worms anyway.
I'm about to get the worst corruption of all, though. Death. I have a feeling this is the end for Sreebold here.
Stefan, Keeper defeats. It is your turn.
I want to really humiliate you. So I'm gonna come up if I can. Or no, I'm on like. Oh, Matt, I think you moved me instead of you on the other side of the wall.
Looks like
I
you did, yeah.
sure
And
did.
now I'm
Yeah,
accidentally drawing.
You're right. I did. Get out
I'm
from
gonna
behind my protection wall.
I'm gonna come up here and try to hit you in the club and kill you like that. That's what I'm gonna do.
With a club, with your what are you at right now? -3 strength.
Don't worry about it. I rolled a nat 1, so it would have been awful either way. But it would have been more fun if it was a spell duel and I was another nat 1.
Now it's just yakety sax.
I rolled a nat 1.
This is wizards wrestling in the mud over here.
Yeah, I'm grabbing a blind wizard.
You may have killed yourself, Stefan. With one hit point.
My weapon is damaged. Yeah, my weapon is damaged. I like swing at the club and like I don't hit the ground. It's awful. That's it for me. Xenolestimus is gonna save the day, I think.
Don't shoot any spells. I'm holding him hostage.
Figure you're weak anyway, so you're barely able to kind of.
I'm really exhausted. I wasn't thinking straight.
Fireball us both to death. Kill
I
your friends to kill me. It's the only way.
I don't have a fireball. I'm not that high a level. But I do have this magic missile spell. I don't have flaming hands, but I want to give him an opportunity to possibly save himself.
All right.
So I want him to be able to counter it. I am going to cast magic missile around. See what the dice have in store for us. Oh, that is 22. It's no spell burn whatsoever.
Well, that was a 19 on the die. So close.
Stefan, before he says anything, I'm going to use 4 points of luck to make it a 26.
Very nice. Well, I will roll my d20, and I'm looking for a very big number here to survive. A respectable 15. I feel like this might be the end.
Oh, the difference is... What kind of
So,
difference
do you 26 to 15? That's 11 points of difference. And a D10 is what you roll on Dable 4-6.
Be a 7, Stefan.
And you won last time, so your momentum is higher, actually. So your 7 is an 8.
Nice.
Right? You roll a 6 and subtract it from the defender spell check. The attacker spell takes effect first at the normal spell check, and the defender spell is reflected back on him at the lower spell check.
I'm dead.
All right, so
I'm very dead.
I'm going to retract my damage and let his own spell reflect back on him.
Yeah, because you were at the 26. That's the one big 40-12 plus caster level.
Yeah, I am obliterated.
That
very good duel. Very good.
Of this duel, yeah, that was pretty awesome. It was touch and go there for a while. It was
close. I was looking forward to trying to unarmed punch Nafitz to death with my D14 at the very last end.
If you got an NPC that has luck or stats, as some of them in the modules do, then you've got a different story going on there.
Yeah,
Enter the Dagon is the most wild adventure I've ever run.
I've yet to run it, but I've referenced it. Yeah.
Completely forgot about that.
I'm glad you forgot about it. I needed it.
Mostly for me in spell duels, we've been doing this for like this one spell duel for about 30 minutes. That is far longer than most DCC combat, and by far the longest spell duel I've been in. Most of them are like, I rolled high and I rolled a 6, so the duel barely doesn't happen, or it happens for one round and then someone rolls a 6.
I get a lot of Phlogiston disturbance. It feels like every road crew game I run, every time it's a wizard duel, is immediately like 220s. Like, oh well, here we go.
And we were close too, and so it's all about initiative, because if Steven would have went first, And we could have doubled up on him and counterspelled him. So,
Well,
it could have been a different story.
And just for folks out there, Stephen, why don't you roll a d10 and we'll like pretend that very first thing was a phlogiston disturbance. And we can see like how quickly that could have gone different. So
that would have been a 5.
Backwards loop in time. The casters are tossed backwards in time to relive the last few moments repeatedly. Roll 1d4 and repeat the last spell interaction that many times, rolling spell checks and incrementing momentum trackers, but ignoring subsequent phlogiston disturbance results.
So we would have to have thrown magic missiles back at each other for another 3 rounds.
Yeah, that's how things could have gone.
I think would have annihilated you if I'm being perfectly honest.
Probably. Yeah.
That would have been a 1v1 against me. There would have been harsh. But
yeah, with my natural like +3, yeah, you just statistically you're gonna,
especially if I'm allowed to use both dice for each of those rounds, just like bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
Well, I hope we've demystified spell duels a little bit for all you judges out there. But Stefan, our time is clicking away. We need to get to these questions.
Yes.
I will say before we leave spell duels, someone in the chat mentioned Laws, often called Laws the Eye Wizard, posted a nice like 9-step, really pretty chart. He's put it on the DCC RPG Rocks page on Facebook. He's posted it on like the Dungeon Crawlers Discord and the Goodman Games Discord. So if you look for that on there or just ask about it, I'm sure someone can help you find it. I've had it on my right screen over here, and it's very helpful. Just to keep it short and sweet.
Elena, awesome. Do we need to switch templates, or should we just stay in this one? Oh, wow. All right. Well, so question 1, Stephen. Different casters have the same spell, have the spell effects stack.
So I was thinking about this actually the other day, and I think it's going to partially depend on, I guess, the spell. The word stack is an odd one, right? So I would say there were definitely some spells where you're both trying to enchant, both trying to cast enlarge on a person, or both trying to cast charm person on a person. I would imagine that like it would just be the higher result of charm is what takes place. You couldn't just add like you're charmed for 3 days, now 3 more days, now 3 more days, because I'm rolling 12 over and over and over or whatnot to just keep it looping. It would refresh every time to the most recently or highest rolled result.
Now theoretically, with one of when you guys did charm person, you guys could have done your spell duel and charmed each other simultaneously,
which would have been very interesting.
I mean, then we would have been friends, right? And you would have been the bad guy. It would have went from the evil Stefan to the evil Stefan.
Or
Steven to Stefan. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
all right. Gotcha.
It's tough. It's so tough.
Elena, if you could bring up handout 1F. On the forums, Blakey has had the similar question. Many spell effects last a long time. For instance, animal summoning can last up to 24 hours, and word of command can last up to 7 days. Every time the effects of the spell last twice, needed time to cast that spell, the effects of the former and latter spell may overlap. So his question was, and you roll animal summoning twice in a row, does the first animal disappear, or do you suddenly then have 2 animals? If you're doing word or command and you command someone to jump up and down, and then you cast it again, can you command them to jump up and down and bark? So can spell effects stack like that? Stefan, what are your thoughts on that?
I would say no. Generally, there might be some cases. I know there's like some where it's like, with this spell, it damages their stats. Obviously, you could stack that and continue damaging an NPC or a PC's stats with, Rave Enfeeblement. But generally, I would not let you double up on additional days for charm person or whatever.
I'm going to say, I think if it's from a different caster, the effect would indeed stack. Let's say, like, me and you were fighting. I cast a charm person and you cast a charm person. They're 2 different spells. We're 2 different people.
Mm-hmm.
Your charm effect goes into effect. It's a stack on top, but it's by you and he's affected by me, I think.
Yeah. I think you're having a little bit of connection issues, but yeah, in that circumstance where it's two different casters, yeah, they probably would stack, and you'd have some fun entanglement there. But yeah, if it's one caster, I wouldn't let them stack it up. Just get whatever the best is.
Let's look at some instances, Stefan. So, Elena, bring up handout 1A. The criteria on page 16 to have successful casting is compare the result of the casting table for that spell. In general, your spell succeeds if the spell check is equal or higher than the base DC 10 plus 2 times the spell level. That's really the only criteria for the spell to succeed or fail. There's no other circumstances, there's no other exclusions unless they are written in the spell itself. And Steve, we have a couple cases, like handout 1B, page 139, it says multiple castings of enlarge do not stack. Use may be used to cancel enlarge. Handout 1C talks about ray of enfeeblement, and it says additionally the caster gains 2 points of strength from debilitating the opponent, and that strength does not stack. And then the third instance is handout 1D. This is a bolt from the blue where the player can
close roll 20 if you haven't. We're still having some connection issues. It might be sucking up that bandwidth.
I was 20 a long time ago.
Okay.
Go ahead and talk. I'm going to refresh real quick.
All right. Yeah. So essentially, Matt was talking. Handout 1B is referencing a spell on page 139 saying that enlarge, you can't stack enlarge, but you can reduce to cancel it out. We had another reference. We probably already had it up, or maybe not, but it's Ray of Enfeeblement, which I kind of referenced earlier, where the spell itself says that you can stack it because it's about sapping away and doing ability score damage to your enemies. Then we bolt from the blue, the cleric spell. That says the cleric can unleash a lot of bolts. Each bolt does a bunch of damage, and it's going to temporarily do some ability score damage, and that they do stack. I think a lot of the time that you have these spells saying, yes, they do stack in this case, which kind of implies that normally they do not.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, you're just audio right now, Matt. But Steven, what do you think in general about that?
I agree. I'm very flexible with Magic. I know that not everyone is, but I like to be with my players. I think of Magic as a toolkit. If they're being creative with it, I'll let them do something. But the cost of that is that they need to either roll higher than usual to get that effect, or they got to do something for it. If the spell says it doesn't stack, but you really, really, really want to make your fighter just that much bigger so he can fight the giant mecha Godzilla robot monster that you've been fighting, I'll let it happen. But you're going to need to either, really be doing invocation to a patron or agreeing to go on a cosmic quest. Or if it says you need a 24, you're going for a 30. So you can add extra stuff onto it. But those are the sorts of deals I'd make in those sorts of situations. But for regular kind of standard play, especially if it's going to be by the books, I think it's very fair that things like enlarge do not just stack, because especially when it's percents, it gets really wonky, really tough to talk about how it works exactly and all that sort of deal. It bogs down the game.
Mm-hmm. I'll say back to an earlier thing. We have an excellent question in the chat saying, so only Charm Person and Dispel Magic would counter Charm Person. I think you could make a great argument for cleric spells like Word of Command and Lotus Stare, which are both very similar to Charm Person. And also maybe Scare, the wizard spell. Scare is basically the opposite of Charm.
I think Ekam's Mystical Mask also has some kind of protection against charms, maybe.
There isn't at least one of the results for that. So, yeah, you could argue that one too. So, I don't know. Talk to your judges.
I generally allow an Invoke Patron or a Divine Aid to counter a spell if you have no other options. costly, but it's there.
It's a good point.
And those invoke patrons are listed as one of the counterspell criteria that you could do. Is my video better now? Can you guys?
Yeah,
Your
hear me?
video's better
absolutely.
now. Your audio's
All
better
right.
now. 100%.
All right. So yeah,
and you're just back to say goodbye, I guess.
I know we might have another show, but handout 1D was Bolt from the Blue. And so there's
We got
different
that,
spells in the book that say you can have stack effects and you cannot have stacked effects. So with that information being in there, I would say let's give our answers to the question. My official answer is, can different casters or the same caster cast the same spell and have the effects stack? Different casters, I think, definitely, because they're coming from a different source. The same caster, if it says it can in the spell, or if it doesn't say, if it says that it can't, then I would rule, yeah, you can stack it, if it makes sense. Stefan, what's your official answer?
Basically the same. Different casters, I stack, maybe cancel out or lessen, maybe you're just gonna have to do that on a case-by-case basis and kind of see what's right. It's not explicitly written in the rulebook, so you figure it out and have fun figuring it out. From the same caster, generally not, unless it says otherwise. I would say whatever the better casting is just going to override the other one.
What about like animal summoning? If the same caster is conjuring up a couple animals,
I would allow it. I would allow it because they're not that's a couple different animals.
So as long as it creates something new and doesn't stack on the same target, maybe is what we think.
Yeah, I guess my answer is very target based.
Yeah, I agree.
Steven, what's your official answer?
I definitely like the target-based criteria for it, but if I just wanted to say a quick, like, 1-line, 2-line official answer, generally spells cast on the same target, like in large, do not stack, I'd say, regardless of who's casting them, unless the book specifically says otherwise for that spell, unless you're trying to do something, additional for it, like bringing in patron magic or something along those lines. But you can form a wizard circle and make your spells more powerful, which is even cooler.
Yeah, ritualized magic. Check out page 124 for a lot of info on that, because it's a cool little subsystem.
I think we did a raw and ritualized magic too.
We did, yeah. We've talked about it.
All right. Well, Steven, thank you for being a guest on the show today.
Thanks for having me. It was a blast.
We've run out of time before we could get to your other two questions, but we'll save them for another day. We definitely love to have you on. Do you have any final words for the community out there?
Yes. Srebold will return. You will rue this day.
Okay.
I mean, he was right next to a lich coffin in the fence.
Mm-hmm.
So
he was.
Who knows what happens?
Maybe he's becoming the grub worms.
Stefan, you got anything you want to say before we take off?
No. I guess everyone check out War of the Cyclops Con. It's in a couple weeks from airing. And subscribe, do all those cool little YouTube thingies. But more than that, game with us at Cyclops Con, and have an awesome time with us.
All right, that's it from us. We'll see you in 2 weeks, where our guest is going to be Brendan LaSalle. And we will be hitting him up with all kinds of rules as written legacy questions. Not legacy, road crew questions. So we will answer all those road crew questions about, does this game count? Can I run it for my aunt in Taiwan?
Can I run, Neon Knights but using Morkborg?
That's right. We're going to get all the answers for every road crew question you got. So send them in, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.